Fran, I'm the acting chairman of the Board of Appeal tonight. We are here March 12th, 6 p.m. and we're going to move it. That's good. Telling them what's going on. So I would like to call the meeting to order now, and Jessica, if you could take roll call.
Member Girard?
Here.
Member Murphy?
Here.
Member Schultz?
Here.
Member Rahman? I have Member Barthol on the phone.
Yes, I'm here.
And Acting Chair Marie.
Here.
She did.
Okay, before we get started, is there any public comment not towards this paper? Public comment. Okay. There is no minutes, so the approval of the minutes we don't do. And so let's get started here. This is petitioner zoning -25-000066. The NAM Properties LLC, the zoning request, conditional use for planned development totaling 5 dwelling units, comprised of 4 newly constructed attached units and 1 existing unit in the house to remain. The owner is NAM Properties LLC. This is at 2 North 511 Swift Road, Lombard, Illinois 60148. The agent is Dan Shapiro and Associates Law, 570 Lakewood Road, within 119 Deerfield, Illinois 60015. The address location is 2 North 511 Swift Road, Lombard, Illinois 60148. Bloomingdale District 1. Zoning is R4 as residential, 0 to 5 acres. The acreage here is 1.26 acres. Service with well and septic. This was published in the Daily Herald, February 25th, 2026. The hearing is tonight, Thursday, March 12th, 2006. Building, there's no objections or concerns with the petition. DuPage, no comments received. Health, no objections or concerns with the petition. Additional information may be required at the time of permit application. The health department has provided a list of requirements to the septic designer of this project. When the completed information is received, the health department will review the application for proposed septic system at the time of the permit application. Stormwater, no objections or concerns with the concept of the petition. Additional information may be required at the time of permit application. Public Works, no objections or concerns with the petition. The Village of Addison, no objections or concerns with the petition. Village of Bloomingdale, no comments. Glendale Heights, no comments. Glen Ellen, no comments. Village of Lombard, no objections or concerns with the concept of the petition. Bloomingdale Township, no comments received. Township Highway has no comments reserved or received. Bloomingdale Fire District, no objections or concerns with the petition. Additional information may be required at the time of permit. NFPA 13 residential fire sprinklers shall be provided as required by the Bloomingdale Fire Department ordinance number 2020-334. Plans shall be submitted to the DuPage County Building Department and Bloomingdale Fire District. Number 1, for review and approval prior to installation meeting. District 15, no comments received. District 87, the school districts, no comments received. Forest Preserve, no comments received. If you could, I would like to identify the petitioner and anybody who's going to be speaking with the petitioner. If you would please stand up and be sworn in.
Raise your right hands, please.
You do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give at this cause and out hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes. Okay, as you start your, presentation, would you please identify yourself.
Good
And
evening.
would you mind proceeding, what we had before, adding it to tonight's?
Yeah, I'll do a little housekeeping.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and I would like me to address, like, do you want me to stand up or at the table?
You know what? Probably so everybody can hear.
Yeah.
Maybe stand up right there so the public can hear, just right.
We move the table over. That'd be easier.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Jessica mentioned, if the public could keep things down, because then it's gonna be hard for her to record, hard for us to hear, you will have your chance to speak with this. Okay? Thank you.
Is this okay?
This is
So give me the public. Just want to make sure
Jessica.
that we all talk, we all be heard. You're okay?
I am.
Good evening, my name is Leon Shapiro, I'm here on behalf of the petitioner. Thank you for having us back. We were with this body about a month ago. And we welcome the opportunity to address some of the concerns and some of the issues. I'm sure there will be more that were raised last time. We appreciate the public being here. We want to hear from the public, especially in this spot. So now, housekeeping, Mr. Chair, in front of you, right there, your right hand is a bound volume. Those are supplemental materials.
We got the number these.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we can have that. Look like this.
Yeah.
Don't you? We have this exhibit number 5.
Okay.
In the group exhibit, you'll see that the first page is a table of contents, page numbers, directing you to the various plans, findings, etc., most findings that were all explained. Importantly, are the answers to the conditional use and PUD standards that we've addressed. We would like to adopt those as part of our formal request when the time comes. So I think it's with this binder that I'm going to speak to tonight. These are the materials that we put together over the last month, which, lack of a better word, revises and cleans up some of the other suitable issues that we have. As you just mentioned, this is a conditional use in the R4 zone. The R4 zoning district allows for planned unit developments as a conditional use. That or like planned unit development as a conditional use in R4. What are we asking for? What are we planning for? We're planning for 4 attached single family units on this property, which I'll towards the western side, towards Spencer, with the existing single family detached to it, for a total of 5 residential units. The 4 attached single family units, you have elevations, you have floor plans. There will be marketed around $400,000 to $500,000 range. Why do I say that? Because we think it's important that these homes address what's often referred to these days as missing middle for a development in residential structures, just like this. In the staff report, we're very enabled to staff because there are no objections or any particular issues that were raised. Any of the departments or zoning, you'll see that the surrounding zoning is R4. So this zoning is consistent with the surrounding zone, and the request for plan development is allowed as an additional use in our. With this project, you'll see as part of the site plan, there is a road that kind of bisects the 4 attached with the 1 detached. What page you want to? Absolutely. Right after get 14, you know, take the plan, and if the plans, this is important, why I want to bring this up at this point. You'll see kind of an access or share flow. That share flow will be available to cross access, cross easement purposes between the detached and the attached single family. Another thing that's important, all these properties are under common ownership. That's one of the homeowners of the definition. And common ownership control. So it is all under the same ownership in Jerry mentioned the name of the owner in your introductory remarks. So ownership is unified. The property development is unified. Again, one of the one of the components of the definition. Like I'll go look at the second one. Maybe like the ownership is currently the ownership that will be unified is the same as the current ownership for the existing home. So it will be one owner who will own all of them. Is there any questions so far?
I do.
Yes.
This is gonna be match single homes, right? These aren't rental. These are home.
Current. The units will install. One of the criteria in development is that the current ownership is all.
Well, connected. Our last meeting, you mentioned HOA. You said the HOA would be divided by 4. Is the HOA now going to be divided by 5?
Yes.
No, not until it's time for, and let them do their presentation. When it's time for the residents, and you'll get your chance to speak.
I want to walk through just a little bit of some of the things in the book, and then other people will speak to those. And they'll introduce themselves. So in the book, you have a traffic memo. Traffic memo addresses the number of trips based on ITE count, which is
Where is that? Wow.
it's on page 5 of the Village Bible Contents. You'll see the page. Sorry, from page 6. You'll also, but I'm just going through the table of contents so you know what's in here that we will. So the traffic memo, generally, like the number of, and you've seen it, heard this before in your position here. A lot of times you look at what the number of trips generated at peak time, peak morning, peak evening time. The total number of trips from all 5 units at peak hours is like 4 or 5 trips. There is. So there's like no traffic at all. I will explain this further. Put that into consideration that Swift Road has about 10,000 trips a day. So if we were really looking at it, not in terms of context there. If we keep going down the table of contents, when we're talking about the preliminary drainage now, in the calculations and why he and his team communicated closely with DuPage County and why, as you said just a minute ago, there were no objections from that water drainage, stormwater drainage. That's because a lot of hard work tonight his team did interface with the village engineering center. We'll also talk, you'll also see a chart here, which I think is important. It's on page 13, which you put together for your purposes, and it really is a chart that says we've achieved the bulk regulations. We satisfy the bulk regulation and other regulations. We fairly simple chart. Thought that might be a good summary. In addition to the other approvals or non-objections that we just spoke to, Mr. Chair. We also had in here our preliminary civil engineering plans, and then we get to design and architecture. Floor plans that our architect will speak to in the elevation. So all of this, we are very hopeful and appreciative and grateful for your attention for this. The standards which I'll address kind of at the end are in here as well as part of our narrative, but we think that the standards for the plan development for the commission is about satisfied through the statements. So with that, I'll have to over to Frank and we can talk about engineering, water.
First, one of the things that everybody.
Excuse me, can you speak up, Mr. Caldwell?
Yes.
Thank you.
One of the things on everybody's mind is examination. What it takes to make is a traffic information memorandum that lays out the criteria from the traffic engineer, generation manager, there's two types of land uses on this property. That, you know, there are based on the ITE criteria, there's expected to be approximately 38.3 from the 39. So 39 is stripped going to from the site on a daily basis. That's based on the single house, the Chad, for there's per day that was average speed. Many expect bigger speed per day. 7.4 to 7.2 trips for each of the single trip. Okay. So that comes to a total of 39 trips per day. Should be noted that and they also provide information with regard to peak trips. Like there's the peak hour in this area there would be 9. But it's generally it's just called the peak hour. The peak hour is anticipated to be approximately 3 trips during the peak hour or 4 trips during the peak PM. So I also wanted to draw your attention to the page 12. Page 12. Swift Road is building noted as the red roadway going north and south adjacent to the property. Wiggins Avenue is the property that is borders the property on the south. What we have done, I want you to look at the overall roadway system as it extends to the east of the property. There are want to say on every one of those programs, is a cul-de-sac connected to all of the traffic will go. You won't have any other traffic to disturb any of the neighbors. The east. So we're not going to be driving, nobody from the spirit from this development will be driving to the east. From the neighbors that are Dickens, Argyle, Alma, or Hermitage. Unless, of course, they're going to talk about sugar, or you're going to have a specific neighboring neighbor. Interact with certain people. I did also want to point out with regard to Smith Road, there is an existing or two existing driveways on our site. It's all the way in the back. Oh, it's not 16. What is it? 16. Right now, there's an existing driveway that goes on to Smith Road. And there's also an existing driveway. Take a look at previous page ordinance page. You see that we are eliminating the driveway to Smith Road. And so you pay DOT generally very to removal of the driveway. So that's it. That's it. Anything. Here, we did research in the determining what the Indian average trips are on very major roadway. Slip road is considered a major road. It's not sure. DuPage County. It is a DuPage County roadway. It's a right of way by DuPage County. So it is done by DuPage County. So that's a reason it's noted that DuPage County. He had no. And it also it has 10,000 trips a day going north south. We are protected through the approximately 30 trips. And it should have all put out that only increasing the trips by 30, not really. There is an existing house. We will not be to the overall. So you're saying the number you showed us 5 residents. There's 5 residents, but one of them. No, I. So the number you showed us, record. Who did you use? That's correct. So the 39 including the house. So it's actually 30 except 30 additional. Not yet. Also, I would like to speak to the it should be exempt whenever you do the place the central driveway access at the high point of the development. All of and directed all of the drainage from the any new proposed impervious surface is going to be directed towards our drainage system. And the drainage system that we're proposing directs all drainage to the fall construction in the bioinfiltration that regarding and we did for that you can see the that would be pages 9 through 11 is that Mr. Healy, an engineer in my office, had with engineer Ecker from the review department, discussing the drainage issues, greater need for the site. He indicated that we need requirements and yet further comments. People also want to know that there is an existing track area the northern eastern portion of the pocket. It is primarily within the right of way of Arlington. Turn to page 2 or that car street. You can see kind of a neat looking area that is directly west. Oh, but it should you have you have a
Yeah. We want to call this exhibit 6.
Maybe how good I can show but
Oh, no, we all have.
The next one was that. Just so you can explain to the board, so this represents the fractional area of about right here. If some would be paying for this area. Here's our development.
Yeah. And more, did you say 4 to 9 inches lower?
4 to 9 inches below. And if you take a look at that, it's within but when it comes down to highway right of it. So we have really no control over that. That's an existing condition. According to testimony from the last meeting, so, they said that it gets it holds water. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I will point out that none of our drains will be directed. None of our new drains will be directed towards, and all of the impervious areas that we create on our project will be directed toward Swift Road. And prior to reaching Swift Road, what's called post construction BMP, the final infiltration system that occurred to the groundwater reach. Oh. It was also point out, whenever we were designing the overall stuff, the overall property. We wanted to have a little impact on neighboring property as we could. And so whenever this was the first in the project team, the septic system was going to be broken up into two areas. What we determined was that to put the septic system in one area, we could move the townhomes to the south. So the neighbors would have a much larger buffer. So we have a landscape area of 65 feet from the house to the north property. If you take a look at page 1 or you can see that extensive distance between the one property and the building. So even though the setback allow we use somewhere around 25, 30, I'm sorry. The setback is allowed setback is 20 feet, and we must work on it.
I want to take away from my mistake, but on that same sheet that you're looking at, you'll see that there's already something located on the parcel, on the part of the property. It's almost like a mirror image, just to east. You'll see on the way we designed it. And I see what the house look like, Mr. Chair. Here's where the proposed septic is.
Yeah.
There's already septic here. So it's a mirror, almost like a mirror image as to the location.
For the
So,
house.
right.
And that is what we can for
Now go to architectural elevation.
I'm sorry, can you speak louder? What is your name?
Yes, so my name is Idris,
Can you spell that, please?
ID.
Thank you.
If you go to,
I'm sorry, can you tell me your last name?
yes, Sejdi, SEJ.
Thank you.
If you go to SP. page 22. We'll start to talk about the fencing and speaking elements. So if you look in the north side,
Are they the architectural drawings?
the architectural, the site plan.
I'm looking at A1 through 4. Is that what you're talking?
We're gonna start with the fencing details, so you see that on page 22 for SP1. Which is right above you. Keep the page right before.
Before A1?
Yes, sir.
There's some.
Find A1 and go back.
Yeah, so the SP1 part of our scope of work, which is just showing a site plan. It includes on the north side, you'll see, the 6 foot tall privacy fence, which divides up the existing properties with the new property. And then you'll also see, greenery buffer zone with trees all around on the north side and west. So right along, then going on to going to page 13. You'll see that we meet requirements for DuPage County zoning ordinance, and that is also shown on SP1 as well with our DuPage info, our floor area ratio and lot coverage area. We'll see that allowable floor area ratio is 25%. Here, internet, 21.79 is the floor area ratio. Opposed to floor area ratio and 5. So you'll see on page 13 that we have. And then going into the architectural floor plans and elevations, you'll see the design features of a functional floor plan with an excellent circulation looking at the block. And H is shown the first floor and second floor. Going into the elevations, you'll see a modern farmhouse, which looking in looking throughout the street over there, you see that it is private. And to further get a, I know the elevations are quite flat, to get a better 3D example. Okay. So I think they probably got this one. To get any questions on? Yeah. Yeah.
I want to address the standards, but before I do, just maybe a couple more things that we may with the last couple minutes. First of all, when we were before this group last time, some of the neighbors expressed concern about water drainage. Couple things to remember, the staff and the engineering department of health all kind of giving the thumbs up to this plan. In terms of the stormwater management. Importantly, as Mike said, the water goes to the west. It goes towards Smith Road. And it goes through infiltration systems and towards Smith Road. Or it's carried down. It's not carried to the north. And so maybe there was some confusion last time. When we talk about the north, a couple other things that are important to remember. We included in this round the provision for 6 foot 4x4 fence as well as landscape. To recognize the sensitivity and to recognize, just the neighbors. And we thought we were trying to do the right thing by doing that, providing landscaping as well as. The other thing I'd like to talk about are standards. Pages 2 and 3 and 3.1 have addressed the standards for not only planning and development, but for conditional use. But I can kind of go back with your permission and look at how we've addressed standards for PED. Again, which is a recognized special use or conditional use in the zoning. The granting of, I'm just kind of paraphrasing here, on page 3.1, the granting of conditional uses and harmony general purpose and intent of this chapter will not be enjoyed as a governmental welfare. Comment and of the Our, response to the first standard, area, covered in area, supply light and to adjacent property within the height limit, there's no huge structure, there's no, violation of any of the setbacks. We laid it out so that there is no impairment of adequate supply of light and air to adjacent. Does it increase from fire? Is there an increase of hazard from fire or other dangers? Probably, I think that self-explanatory by the fire protection report. They seem to sign off on this. We have designed it in a way where that access and there's no indication that it's uses the fire or other dangers in the property. Does the minimum value of land building in the city of the proposed conditional use? I expressed before, not only be consistent with the strong zoning, but I would argue that having a residential development like this actually improves surrounding property values rather than having a big property. This adds to the aesthetic, to the improvement and development. Unruly increased traffic, we'll talk about this lawyer's fancy word, de minimis. Traffic, might talk about that today. So there's no undue increase in traffic for additional residential. Is there a potential for additional, or does it increase the potential for flood damages to adjacent property? Again, we have built in the BMP system, treatment system. We received okay from the Water Management Committee, and we know that we're vetting through the stormwater management engineers committee by this county before we can even put shovel at the ground will be necessary. And we know they're very good at it. So far so good, but we know that nothing can happen until that is completely approved. And we're aware of that by this team. Does it incur additional public expense for fire protection, rescue? No, for no indication. Fire. And will this otherwise apply with the zoning and all regulations provided in the chart? And testimony to that effect. So we're hopeful that this presentation, along with our group exhibit 5, group exhibit number 6, allows you to make favorable recommendation for this plan and development. At the average, have to take the question or have to take any comments that the public has.
Okay. Next, what we're gonna do is take questions from the board. Okay, so.
I have two questions, I think.
Can you speak real loud? Thank you.
I forgot. I'm old.
Yeah.
I don't think what. Is there something for not?
That will be the stage one. Okay, so that it's feeling more intense.
And we can work with staff. With a program. But then they need someone similar to what I would know.
I call it violent.
I just want to make sure that terminology and things like that.
It's a common BMP that you. The very first BMP that was placed in DuPage County was prepared by Schaefer.
Prepared by who?
Schaefer and Rowe. If you know about Schaefer, but years ago, he was pioneer. It was the very first BMP, and I worked for one side of
No, I think.
But yeah, so that then. Because many parking spots are pretty.
I don't think there's any parking on the street. Oh, we're not doing any parking on the street, or parking.
Normally, houses like this here, I drive through there on a Sunday morning and there's all the garages, at least one space, and most, some of them, two of the spaces are used for storage. So you only have 2 spots.
We have 2 more, and then I believe one. And then the interim will also serve for 2 additional cars. So each townhome, each attached resident could have as many as 4 cars, 2 in the garage and 2 on the.
What I'm saying, realistic, it doesn't work that way. If you just drive close to a townhouse.
Yeah.
On Sunday morning, in the summertime, the doors open, you just see them tacked up the ceiling. Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
I may have missed it last time, but what is the plan for garbage? Is it gonna be in front of the house, pick up on the street, out there?
Yes, I think what we said last time.
We did address. it, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
we did address it, then that would be picked up at the house.
So they pull it into the street in front, down the street, the access
Correct.
road.
Mr. Kirkle, do you have any questions?
Yes, yeah. Customary residential garbage pickup. Well, each homeowner would be, each homeowner would be responsible for their own driveway. But if we're talking about that shared access road, that would be part of the maintenance of the HOA.
Okay, next, we will take public comment. And some of you were here last time. And we had said, if you need to talk again, we're gonna let you, all right? But we have to keep it down to 3 minutes. And the idea is when you come up, it's the first thing we need to know is whether you're for, against, or neutral for the petition. The next thing we need to know is where you live to the site, all right? After that, go ahead and give your presentation, but the next person that comes up, if you're gonna say the same thing the person in front of you said, you can just say, I agree with what they said, so that you're up, maybe get your turn up, because it'll help for then if other people have a little bit more to offer. Does that make sense, everybody? And if you could please, let's do this first. How many are planning on speaking by a show of hands? Okay, could you all stand up and be sworn in, please?
Would you raise your right hands, please? You do solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give at this cause and our hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Now, the way we'll do this, just to be fair, we'll start front row from left to right, second row left to right, back row left to right. But if you would, stand up and speak loud so that the recorder can hear you, the microphone can hear you, and the crowd. Can see you.
You remind me of my mother.
I hope that's a compliment.
This is my daughter. I'm here on behalf of my daughter, my husband, they live at 21 West 316.
There you go, and don't forget, let's go with first your name.
Her name is John Robertson. I'm an attorney from Yale.
Okay,
We have zoning there. Too. I previously sent a letter to the board and then offer that evidence again
that'll be exhibit one.
to the one. And on that, I wrote an additional matter that I just had brought up. If there are restrictions in deed to the property, that it is restricted to a single family house, then that needs to be resolved because neighbors can file suits to enforce those covenants, even if they have their own improvement. The problem beneath the surface that I just thought. I also have petitions that one of the neighbors has made to give to you. And now I'll get on to say what I was going to say. I was very impressed with Mr. Shapiro's work on this. It's all very well prepared. For the purposes of my comments, I'm going to talk about the law, what the zoning law is, why I think we can't do this.
You want to give this to us for,
Yes, for evidence. Exhibit 2. When I look at the pictures and everything, it looks like my condominium in Florida has popped down to single family zone. It is not a single family residence. And that raises a number of issues. The reason it's zoned R4, I submit, is because it's a low density area. And so you also need to think about not just this development, but what comes after. Because if you do put more and more of these things in, you're putting increased density, more stress on the environment, particularly the occupants. Because all of these homes survive on a well. And if you get too many people drawing on a well, you've got problems. I don't know that that's been analyzed, but even if that's analyzed, I want to get to it this. When I first looked at this, I went to law school. What label do you put? You put multiple thing and single family, it's spot zoning. So the question is it an exception? You can try for a variance, the variation, you call it. So you don't get a variation if you show hardship. And the law that I cite in my letter, you don't get hardship because you bought a house in the R4 zone that you want to do something more with. You have no right to do that because the zoning has to have some integrity. So it's not a variance. Instead, it's kind of, when I first read it, it looked like it was going to be a conditional use without conditional use plan unit development. But I read the plan unit development part, and it didn't read to me like the plan unit development with 1 or 2 lots, which is one building. Plan unit development is something broad. I don't know how it's going to apply in the county, but that would be my understanding based on what I know about zoning. Plan unit development does not qualify for these reasons. One, it's inconsistent with the master plan, with the comprehensive plan for the county. It's an R4. That's what the neighborhood is designed to be. And the second thing is, it doesn't have municipal, I'll call it municipal sewer and water. The reason those are required in multiple family units is because they put more stress on the system. You shouldn't have neighbors who have to get into a scientific analysis of whether this particular unit's going to push something over. This, we're making a precedent. If you move one of these, another one comes, and another one comes, suddenly you're going to have basically a housing development in our pool. And I thought it was interesting when I looked at the condominium divisions, if they, for the operation of this, it specifically says they're going to have leasing. And again, this gets me back to the condominium in Florida, because that means traffic in and out. It's not as stable as you get in full family housing. The people that live there all comfortable and have invested their livelihood and their lives in single family housing. It's not consistent with what they want to do. This is a different thing. And for that reason, I don't think it needs to test for things that you have to be satisfied with. I leave all the concerns of the people they can express them. Just legally, I think it's sufficient. Thank you.
Next,
Good evening. My name is Kate Poliak. I am his daughter, and I very much agree with everything that he just said. I'm not the public speaker.
even that I'm like his mother.
But I'm not the public speaker, so I do have my notes with me, but
Would you spell your last name?
Poliak, Polyak.
Thank you.
Yes. But I wanted to thank you for taking the time to hear from all of us in our community about the case. I am against the petition for conditional use. If the petitioner wanted to create a single family home on this lot, none of us would be. We would be completely fine with that. We would welcome it. I've been in the neighborhood for 13 years and we've seen growth, we've seen change. And we just want to make sure that the way our neighborhood functions is with single family homes and lots continues into the future. This, in trying to use a conditional use, it feels like you're trying to say it's a bed and breakfast, or you're bringing in an in-home daycare. That would be what I would consider conditional use. But it just feels like you want to push the boundary of what a single family unit is. You want to build more. And according to some of the zoning that I've read, this is months. So when we were moving in, we really just wanted to find a place to kind of trees and grass. And we were so lucky because I came from Central Illinois in 2013, where we had places to run around outside for kids. And we were so lucky that when our first kids moved into that house, we had trees, we had grass, we had space. Still do. We love it. We walk those streets. We ride bikes on those streets. Our kids have absolutely enjoyed having deer, coyotes, raccoons, not so much. We don't really enjoy the raccoons, but we really enjoyed the quietness. And this project would bring in not only noise from construction, but once it's completed, there would be more traffic. We understand that you don't think it's a lot, but we do feel like it is some. And it also sits at the only ingress and egress that our family and many of you can have to get down. And I know that during construction times and also during bad weather, that can be very tricky. I know a lot of us also have concern about the impact on water runoff, and I know you guys spoke to that as well. Being hemmed in by 355 on the east. I know that the back portion of my lot is wetlands all the way from my lot all the way to 355. So I'm not an expert in the water, but I do have concerns about that. It's even running down towards Swift Road, again, some of you walk that neighborhood frequently, that stretch of sidewalk gets really wet. And if we're talking about building something more to bring more water, I think that being super interesting. But mostly I want to invite you guys should come to our. If you haven't been there, get in your car, drive on over. We'd love to see you guys. Bring a picture of the architectural rendering. It's a beautiful rendering, but I would challenge you, does it look like it fits? And I do not believe it. We do not believe it fits in our neighborhood. But again, it's not just about this one planned or development. It's about setting a precedent that allows this to happen again and again and again and again. And that's going to change our neighborhood. So please don't let that have to be the reason that this project is allowed to serve or ignore housing laws and protect our neighborhood. Our neighborhood is special, and it would be sad to do it paper. And I forgot, I also have a letter that I written. That is, thank you.
Next.
My name is Laura Wallace.
I'm sorry, can you face
My
this
name
way
is
a little
Laura
bit?
Wallace.
Yes.
I live at 2N211 Swift Road. I'd like to say, I'm probably the oldest resident here. I may be older than everybody here.
Not me.
I'm going to be 70 years old, so I am new. And so I have seen the changes through the years in the community. And I feel, I don't just feel, you know, this is it. It's a nasty. Not only just being most of this, but any other proposal that's anything other than a single family home. I watched the highway be built, which we were told that had no impact, that it would not be an alternate route that they did to then they put the toll booth at North Avenue. So Smith Road became a main highway. I've seen another house be built, which the county said it was swaled properly, which flooded the property behind. There's just so many things. I understand the desire to the community, that is very nice. But when it's all said and done, this is our four single family homes, not adjoining homes, no adjoining roofs, no adjoining utilities, no adjoining septic as well. Our roads are all dead end, so they all have to come back to Smith Road. And yes, Smith Road is very pretty good, you get a lot of water, which is another problem. We have a lot just south of me. It's a big lot, and the gentleman owned it. Very nice gentleman. Came to multiple times to try to do some of the same thing. He first was building a house that was huge, that was the front. He then came back to you, maybe not to you, but where was the front? He never had me. He wanted to have it divided in the first three lots. Then he wanted to have it divided in half. And he decided these are single family lots. And that's what they were intended for. And as David Howard said, I agree 100%. You're setting a precedent here that if you allow this, anybody can come up with some contingency. And a neighbor can sell their house because these lots are bigger. They can sell the house and you can have more households for them. It's not a legitimate reason to change single family homes. Change the zone if you want multiple family homes, which I believe is in part 3, or go to an area that allows part 3, because you really need to change the code if you are going to put multiple homes conjoining. And I believe I heard them say there's one owner, is that correct? There's one owner, so that makes me squirm, which is very concerning, because we do have colleges and schools in the neighborhood, which would make these units very desirable. I retired from the college of DuPage, so I know how housing is very important to students depending on how people are. And I know how many people they can fit in one unit, whether it's allowed or not. So if these homes are allowed to have, say, 5 people, I believe that driver's fault is family 5. If that is correct, there's nothing saying they cannot be 5 adults with 5 cars. And these streets are not made for that. And we do live in a very nice neighborhood, and I that take some great to come and see the neighborhood. This is no disrespect to anybody here that wants to build, but I believe the board needs to take into consideration what is important to us going down the line. And if you include one, how do you include another? And honestly, these things are 4. And if you have a family, you want to raise a family, you bought this home, you paid the price to live in an area that isn't perfect. And 2 wells and 2 septic makes absolutely no sense.
Gone over that. No, that's okay. There's a lot of. I appreciate it. Thank you. Next.
Phil Schneider, 21551 Argyle Street, but just on the street. I'm at the end of the lot. So the water does run from south to north. That's why they got those retention ditches on each side of the road. It runs, they put in sewers, it directs the water all to the west side. And then it goes across the driveways and it filters into the lot.
I want to just stop for a second. DuPage County has some of the strongest water retention issues. So if this plant was even to go further,
Right.
they would easily take care of that. So we've heard that.
Okay, that's fine. And I also agree with everything else. I don't want this to become
That's
But when I bought my house 7 years ago, there was another lot attached to it. They let the owner of my house split it off. That lot next to me basically takes drainage from my house and my neighbor's house, and it's in a swell. The poor guy that bought it, he can't even build it. Because there's just, it's swamp. So I don't even know why they allow that to be, just.
That I couldn't.
Right, and now you want to put a four-family home on 1 acre lot, when it's you got acre homes, one home on acre lot, so because everybody's got an acre. Or a half, at least a half acre. I don't know why they want to do it. The other question, last question, the existing home, is that land that is perk tested, because if his septic goes out, he's gonna have to upgrade the system. And does he have the area to upgrade the system on that existing lot that he's left? And if everybody has a car, traffic is gonna be parking heavy. And everybody drives through my driveway because I'm at the end. So I get a ton of cars coming through my driveway all the time. I just appreciate the quietness of the area. I just don't want to.
I understand your concern. Next.
Mike Fisher, 29425 Argyle Street. First of all, I'm agreeing with what you said here, and on behalf of you guys over here, neighbors, engineers will figure it out. There's not a doubt in my mind that they can drain it, they can do something with it. You have enough money, do anything. You guys all know I'm a contractor, I've built back there. If you throw enough money at something, you'll find a way. Okay, let's go right why I don't know. The fit, we talked about the fit. We're all single family homes back there. When you pull it off of Dickens, that's the only way in and out. There's 3 streets back there, there's Argyle, Almond, everything funnels into Dickens. When we pull it off of Dickens, we're gonna be looking at the back of the house. Every time you pull in. The house is faced back. Every time you pull in, we're gonna be looking at the back of the homes. We're gonna be looking at the tops of the sheds sticking out. I don't have a drawing to show it's fence or anything like that, but I'm assuming we're gonna see on the back that 16,000. So we have no fence on the foot road. When we put on the foot road, we look at the back. We look at the table, we look at shed. You guys have 140 storage, drainage. Most of you guys back here probably don't know what EMP stands for, Establishing Investment Management Practice. Okay, that's adopted in DuPage County within the last decade. Water has to stay on the property. I've learned that the hard way. I tried to develop property, it's got to stay on the property. I'm sure they have some wonderful ideas, and there's probably a way to do it. Not paying attention to it. All this management practice, all these compensatory storage, all this drainage is right along the sidewalk, the road. If you look at 30-foot setback, all the drainage, all the water management is within the setback. So that means when you're walking down the sidewalk on Swift Road, you're gonna walk 5 feet off the sidewalk, and there's no topography on there. It's just gonna be a 3-foot deep ditch, 5-foot deep ditch. I mean, what's gonna be there for storage? We don't know. It's gonna be right by the sidewalk, and it's in the 30-foot setback. I'll let the engineer explain it. We're all single family homes, we're all out of large lot, we're all open space. I'm gonna just hit forward notes because I only got 3 minutes. No, we have a country player back there. We're cramming 4 units on a lot that's made for 1 house. Okay, there's no available parking. There's stalls in behind space, there's 2 stalls in the garage. Like this gentleman said right on the board here, people fill their garages. If they entertain, there's no place to go. You guys talked about traffic on the street. Unless somebody turns around in their driveways, in their house, or behind the house, actually the front of their house, that traffic is going to come the rest of the way up. It's going to turn down one of those streets to turn back around. That means every truck, every ambulance truck, everything that delivers to that house is not going to pull in behind and squeeze in between the house. They're going to stop on the street or they're going to turn around. Dickens is very minimal for parking. You guys are going to have driveway on the side there. That block is, well, that block would be 136 times 2. So that block's about 250 feet deep. I don't know how many cars can touch it, but all the driveways. That means any of their visitors are going to be parking on Argyle, further down Dickens, down on Almond stuff. I know you guys know I've had some pretty big parties back there. I got cars parked all the way down Dickens and stuff like that. And my parties for 40, 50 people. There's no place to park cars around us.
There's no talking the traffic. Is there anything else? Because 3 minutes is.
Okay.
I'd like to go a little longer.
Plan shows the bedroom and all your structures is central bedrooms. I don't know if anybody paid attention to the floor plan, because there's a 20 by 12 block up in the top that's going to be a 3rd bedroom and pretty much a point of the south with the wall and the door.
Back of the house, we talked about facing Swift Road, like I said, if there's no fence in the back, we're looking at everything that's in the backyard, we're looking at street set, shed, whatever's back there. Talk about stormwater control, 4,200 square feet, I don't know if it can be a big one ground. There's no, cover lot, I'm trying to stick to the stuff you can cover.
And that's why I'm just trying to be careful, and the rest of you remember, get to the points that weren't hit. So we get that.
So I'm skipping over, like I got a lot of bullets, that's over. My last thing is, I don't think you understood. You said that one builder's putting this together, but they're gonna sell them as separate properties. There's gonna be an HOA, I'm assuming you can buy them. We need an HOA, go on.
I'm sorry, I can't take back and forth conversation.
Yeah. Dial.
Yeah,
It's turn to speak. Wait,
Don't want, don't want. Down the road, stuff, man, properly and stuff like that. But like I said, all of this is gonna come into how it's gonna affect the rest of us in the neighborhood. Like I said, you're cramming too much in there. I'm all for building something there. You know, when you said, hey, we could build 2 houses there, but single family homes, that's what we have. We're forcing something in, like I said, you throw enough money in there, I know you can make it work. Look at your work. Not well, my house, not that.
Is there anything else you need to cover?
No.
Okay, thank you. Your concerns are being. Thank you. Next.
Yes, I, John Forrest, 21450 Fargo. And, if you come out to the neighborhood, like you might see that a half a mile north and to a half a mile south, the subject property, everything's been developed as existing single family. I mean, that's the flavor of the neighborhood. It's got a rural feel. That's why all of us move there. And, we would like to maintain this particular development. It's really a square peg trying to go around. A lot of my bullets were taken away. I've spent about 35 years in municipal, including about 7 years as building and zoning administrator. I've been on your side of the table. I know the kind of factors you've got to consider, and also it's really important that quality of life is now in mind. Just because the developer can come to you with traffic study, stormwater study, doesn't necessarily mean that's the best work. Actually, the first sentence of the R4 these R4 single family residence district, they have to preserve and maintain. Talk about possible strain of aquifer. I mean, it's no secret that our area has experienced prolonged drought for the next 4 to 5 years. Ponds are drying up, creek levels are low, river levels are low. A lot of municipalities have water use restrictions. What I hear, the experts are predicting it's not going to end anytime soon. With this type of demand, I mean, it's probably not a real good idea. So really, this is affecting them. Hopefully, you guys will make a decision to future development in that area of residential single family tax. As is on clear as they are.
Next.
My name is Scott Kelly. I live at 21 West 335 Dickens. I echo a lot of what they have to say. There's a lot of empty lots behind us, and one of my concerns is that as soon as this is passed, then they can start building townhomes in those lots that are for sale behind us or purchase, which is going to put a big strain on us. We moved here 20 years ago, and like because it was country, it was woods, it was, I don't want to see townhomes all over, so I'm against it. That's pretty much what I have to say. I can't tell you any technical stuff, they all know more than I do, so, but I'm against it.
Thank you. Next.
Vince Barvecchia, 1 West 15 Dickens Road,
Can you spell your last name?
SPADAVECCHIA.
Thank you.
So basically, I agree with what everyone said. I had a bunch of stuff to say, but everybody pretty much said it already. So I'm not gonna waste your time. But I agree with everything. Like it, everything they pretty much said everything else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I say one more thing?
Because you didn't use the 3 minutes, yes, you can.
Thank you. One thing I'd like to know is the house behind it is a single family residence scheme. Well, now I understand that. Okay, but part of my concern is that these will become the dormers. Okay, and that's another concern. So,
Thank you for the question. Next.
Hi, Brianna.
I'm sorry, what's the first name?
Brianna,
Thank you.
To end more and I have to be with people to purchase from those class. That's why I like high low in DuPage County. Because I wanted to put my family into a very quiet setting. I didn't want to live in through my window, seeing the neighbors. I wanted the trees. I like the conservation back there. I love seeing the deer. I love seeing the wildlife. That's where I raised the kids, and I specifically love high low in DuPage County for this area. When I found this area, I was thrilled. So we did build a single family home there. I agree with everything that everybody said. With his yes, one of my concerns is the fact that we realize purchased by one person, all of them. But I'm assuming what's going to happen here when this is up. Are there any restrictions on how many people could reside here? Are they going to turn things on? And I have you part of a really good one that I actually think of people. You have also the last that. What is going to happen if you set this precedent? Is that going to change it? I can tell you now, I go down and take a bath, I go to the water in the winter time, I stop. It's water, it's wet, it's a love, it's awesome. I wanted to say that that is why I purchased the lot and use it for anything. And believe me, I'm all for development area, I have a white elephant in the area. I would love for a nice and the family comes over and raise my value because right now we're waiting. Because that's one of the things I'm going to say. I want to be excited and I want to stay my excitement. That's why I.
Thank you. Was there anybody else? Okay, now, next, council, if you'd like to.
Yeah.
Closing statement. Yeah.
Sorry. My concern with the subject is, the overuse of the subject. So, if you don't do anything, how many people are staying? Is it going to be people? Or is it going to be 6 people? Is it going to be 8 people? If there is that many people residing in the house, we'll say, and then what's going to happen? There's too many people using that in that area.
Thank you. I just have a couple of final comments. I first want to thank the neighbors. We live at a time today where this work can be so difficult and so challenging. I really appreciate the respectful give and take in the comments. And I know you're coming from a place of sincerity. Truly appreciate it. I want to see that support. The zoning ordinance for DuPage County again allows, among other things, a conditional use in the R4. Several conditional uses in the R4, one of which is for land unit development. So procedurally, and by the zoning ordinance, a plan unit development is a recognized allowable use. We have come before you to address the standards for it to be allowed and permitted and recommended, not approved. But there's an intent by the very fact that the zoning ordinance puts in a plan of development as a conditional use, which can be allowable. And maybe now. The other thing I want to clarify is there is a single owner now. I misspoke, I'll take your responsibility for this. There's a single owner now for the entire lot. If and when this is approved and the attached units are sold, they will go to individual. That's why what we did before the prior meeting is we submitted a draft CCF to give away covenants, conditions, and restrictions. That was based on 4, now on 5. That's why it's draft. We want to hear the comments from this meeting, and we will need to speak, of course, to reference 5 units, not 4, and make sure that some of these comments are properly and visibly noted in the CCI. Snow maintenance, snow plowing, maintenance, garbage, etc. There's one comment, well, could this turn into dorms? If anyone wanted to change this use, they gotta come back for you. It can't be done without amending the conditional use or amending the. I can't.
Please, you have your chance to speak. Please let it.
I can't speak to the person or not. But if anyone wants to change the use, the law requires it to come back and come before you for an amendment. There was also some discussion about present, and I think there was some concern about present. That's why this is a conditional use. Each conditional use, as you know, it comes before its own hearing, or it rises and falls on its own merits. So if someone else wanted to do something else on an article, whether it be another conditional use or other than a plan development, or even a plan development. This is not precedent setting because they got to come before you on their plan. Each plan is unique. Each proposal, each plan development is unique. That's why there's a control that's built into the zoning for a conditional use. Here, like what I mean. I do applaud the father and daughter tag team, great job. I said you should be proud of each other. But there are a couple of terms that we're just throwing out here that just spots them. We're not changing anything. So that's something we have donut, a whole donut. If you were to have an industrial district in the middle surrounding residential, that's about something. We're not changing so spots on doesn't. Very, we're not asking for very and development based standards that are required in the standard in our presentation and in our narrative. So there's no variance addition. I believe Mr. Robertson said, plan shows us we are, plans don't show that's zoning ordinances. And so we're keeping zoning district or that we're asking. I talked a little bit about the president, and I also wanted to briefly touch upon some of the due diligence that will go forward with this. Stormwater management is going to be strictly and very thoroughly reviewed. That's what this county does. The staff report said that the septic design will be scrutinized and reviewed to make sure that it addresses septic appropriately, etc. That will be vetted through staff and engineering of staff this county. So all those concerns are now going to come to us with this stage, are going to go through another examination for the county's experts, engineers, public health, etc. So again, we thank the public, we thank you for listening to us. We ask respect for the able to submit.
Okay, so here's how this matter proceeds here. The record is closed, so there'll be no additional testimony, evidence, or information that's included in the record. We will make our decision solely based on the record that will be discussed at our recommendation meeting. Council, are you ready for recommendation?
we're ready for.
Okay, so what I have here then, this will go to recommendation meeting on April 2nd, 2026. Here at 5:30, it'll be in room 3500B. You had a question?
Just a real quick thing. One way to rank one of the neighbors, this was out of town, wanted to turn it in.
You can.
Thank you.
So yeah, recommendation meeting, you're more than welcome to come. We will have a recommendation. No more comments will be coming at that meeting. No more comments will be made. It's closed except for that letter.
Never got up to.
Oh, you got it. Good. I have that now.
Can I have one question? Do you set the restrictions in the deeds as part of the application? Chairman, I made a note when on the letter that I handed in. I just wondered, as part of the review here, do you check for restrictions in the deed or not? You do. Do you happen to know whether there were any, such as?
I'm sorry.
Did the deed restrict this to single family use?
I have not looked at it.
I would just ask that that be reviewed. Thank you.
With that,
Mr. Chair, what can we expect at this meeting in the second? Is there any discussion? I know there's a public hearing, but you need to.
we will have the discussion.
Yep.
And then we will vote on it. Okay, but no other record will be brought to the meeting. Okay. I've got two hands coming up, you guys. What's that? I'm sorry. Oh, I want to know the time. I'm sorry. So April 2nd, Thursday, April 2nd. Okay, the first Thursday of every month is our recommendation meetings for any petition that comes up. All right. You're more than welcome to attend, but you're not did any more testing. That's it. It's closed. We do the discussion. We make our recommendation. Or like that'll be at room 3,500 feet. It's something that's
At 5:30.
sorry. Yeah, after that, when we make our recommendation, I think it's 2 weeks later, then it goes to the county board. Then they take our recommendation, they talk about it, and it can change there. Okay, so we understand what happens next.
So the steps after recommendation meeting would be, it would go to the county development committee, which is comprised of 6 county board members, 1 from each district. They will make a recommendation that then goes to the county board. That will likely occur April 21st and April 28th.
If there is nothing else, any old business?
Just a point of clarification, please, Dennis. Apart from the request that I made for additional submissions.
Oh, that's right. Then we will leave the record open until the recommendation meeting then. Mr. Carlo. There was nothing else. With that. Is that what you wanted? Carlo? So you'll be able to get that before the April 2nd. Okay, any old business? Any new business? Okay, with that, case is closed. Thank you for participation and that